Here's how to use the Samsung Health app for nutrition tracking. If you haven't already done so, load the Samsung Health app onto your phone. Now this is what your dash is going to look like. You have steps, activity, it's mid-afternoon. I've not recorded any food for the day because I wanted to show you this example for the video. So let's say I'm going to make my post-gym protein shake or any meal. You hit record and you have options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, morning snack, afternoon snack, and evening snack. I'm going to call that an afternoon snack after the gym. And these are foods that I've already put into the app. The database that this app has is pretty impressive actually. For example, if I want heavy whipping cream, they have heavy whipping cream HEB. And again, these show up because I've used them before. So then all you have to do is click it. And this is what's nice, is the more consistently you eat for a diet, the easier it is to track your foods because they're already in here. So I had heavy whipping cream. I had a scoop of peanut butter, not just any peanut butter, but the peanut butter creamy from HEB, which is a local Texas chain. I had coffee. And I had the whey protein double chocolate by Levels brand. So again, it's very specific, which is great. Once you select the different items, then you go to next, and it offers you the ability to select a time. I actually had it much earlier in the day, so I'm going to put it more like 1:04 p.m. This is where you can adjust your quantities. So for the whey protein, I had 1 serving or scoop. For coffee, I had 2 mugs. Now granted, mine was decaf, but that's fine. Peanut butter, I had the 1 serving, and the heavy whipping cream, I had 1 serving. Now granted, I am not probably as accurate as I should be on the quantity of this spoonful of peanut butter that I put in there, or the amount of whipping cream. That's one thing that I have for an area of improvement, is I try to look at the container, see what 1 serving is, and try to estimate that. I don't have a food scale, which should be my next investment to make sure I'm getting more accurate. Once you have your quantities selected, you have the option here to add food if you would like. And let's just say you wanted to put in a banana. And just banana, you have all these different options, just as an example of how broad this database really is. I mean, this is huge. But usually the simple ones are up on top. If I just wanted a banana, I could put it in there. Next. And let's say I didn't use a whole banana. It says this is for a medium one this size. Well, I could say that's about the size of the banana, but maybe I only had half of the banana. And it does give you your information down here as well. So whichever you do, adjust that. Now for me, I'm not going to do the banana, so I'm going to hit minus, and it will delete that. So now I'm back to what I actually had. And then I click done. And now what it tells you here is it gives you a target calories per day. Now this target is based on your weight and your general activity level. However, it's basically the same every day. And that's one thing that I don't care for about it, is that I wish there was more intelligence behind this. But it's a goal, it's a starting point. So what that tells you, and you see in the, what I assume is a lemon, it's got 364 of your 2053 calories today. And it shows you your snacks. Down here, especially for someone like me on a keto diet, this is really handy because I can quickly look at my carbs and I can say, oh, I'm only at 12 grams. Awesome. And it does give you some guides as far as recommended, but those recommendations are going to be for somebody on a normal diet, not a keto diet. It also tells you how you're doing on these other nutrients. But the main thing that I'm using it for is calories and carbs because of my diet. I'm currently on what I'll call a wolf diet with keto and a 3rd day cheat day. So I want to stay below 50 grams of carbs for day 1 and day 2. And then day 3, I'll allow myself to go higher in carbs based on what I've established as cheat parameters. And I'll go into more of that on my wolf diet video. Let's say I want to add something else. Let's add breakfast. This is what I eat pretty much every morning for breakfast. Now you can look at that and you can say, wow, that's a lot to enter into the app every day. Now, yes, it's quite a few items to put in here. And if you really don't care about how you look or feel, you can go to the drive-thru and get one item that you can plug in easier. But if that's what you're eating, you probably don't care about tracking your nutrition anyway. So for breakfast, again, once you put it in there once, it's going to be easy. So I have fried eggs. I have pork sausage. I have shredded cheese. I have sour cream. I have salsa. I have blueberries and heavy cream. So there's blueberries and heavy cream, the eggs with sausage, cheese, sour cream, and salsa. Now the eggs, it says 1 large. I eat 3 a day. So I'm going to put that up to 3. Everything else I leave as 1 serving. The blueberries, I do 1 cup. And it automatically populated at 8 a.m. because that's what time I generally log the breakfast. So you can look at that and it'll recognize your patterns and then hit done. Now you can see our total calories for the day went up to 1,100 out of the 2,053. So our lemon is half full. For carbs, I'm still under my 50 carbs at 37.6. So I'm doing well on my calories and my carbs. You'll notice I have an afternoon snack on here and I can add a morning snack. Because before the pool in the morning, I actually have heavy whipping cream with some BCAAs, and I have half a scoop of my collagen protein. The collagen says 1 serving. I'm going to drop that to half. Everything else is good. And 10 a.m., I actually have that at about 4 a.m. Done. And done. Now you see we have our morning snack in here as well. And it went up a little bit in calories. Our carbs are still pretty good. And you can see that it is telling me I'm high in the saturated fat. That's understandable because I'm on a keto diet. You don't want that to be too crazy high, but it's going to be a little higher with what I'm eating. For lunch, I made a sirloin roast. So for lunch, I'm going to put in here sirloin roast. Sirloin tip roast specifically. It was basically no fat. And it was cooked and roasted. Okay. Now that says 3 ounces. So I'm going to adjust that in a second. The next thing, instead of backing that out, you can just hit X. It's already got your sirloin in there. And I also had some olives. And they were stuffed. Let's see, stuffed. The olives. The brand can make a difference, so we should at least try to look and see if they have the HEB brand that I used. There we go. Stuffed olives HEB. Perfect. Next. Okay. If you have questions about what 1 serving is, it says it's basically 14 grams. The one thing I don't really care for about this is that it doesn't give me a way to put ounces in. It's just what I visualize easier. So I do get a little frustrated. I can't change that to ounces. But you can always look down here and say, well, 1 serving is, and it doesn't tell us. It does say that 1 serving, there's about 4 olives in that. Well, I had closer to 12, so that means I had 3 servings. And there's not even a way to just say 3 servings. I have to go, well, wait a minute. Actually, if I go back, so it says 1 serving here. What I can do is go up to 3 servings that way, and that saves me the math of multiplying 3 times 14. It's only 42, it's not that big a deal, but still. 3 ounces of sirloin, I add closer to 12 of that. So I'm going to put 12 ounces of that. Lunchtime was just now, that's fine, and done. And you can see we're up to 1946. I want to be operating in a slight caloric deficit. However, I also did legs today, which I know is going to take a lot more calories than normal for recovery. My carbs are at 38.1, which is still below my 50 for my target, so that's great. Got plenty of protein. So what this basically tells me is I'm going to try not to eat the rest of the day and start my intermittent fasting now at 4, roughly, p.m., which will take me until 4 a.m. tomorrow when I have my snack before I go swim. Overall, it's a pretty easy app to use. It takes a little bit of time getting used to it. And again, the more times you eat consistent food, which I know can be boring, but for me personally, it's efficient. So having all those foods in there, pre-populated, makes it much easier for me. The thing I'd really like to see as an improvement on this is instead of just this generic 2,053 calories a day, what would be really nice is a chart showing activity level, like heart rate level maybe or something, with food intake level. Because if you can sort of align the food coming in to what your activity is and show where your fasting is and all that, it would make it much more useful, I think, in terms of planning. I got a lot of benefit out of using a continuous glucose monitor that you can see in one of the other videos that really showed those kind of activities. And so it'd be nicer to see more intelligence behind the tracking. Like, let's say I go run 5 miles, which isn't going to happen, but if I do that later today, then I would think that my target calories could go up as a result of running those 5 miles. And it doesn't seem to do that. For example, I had a day on the 31st that I did a lot of activities. I actually worked out multiple times that day, doing multiple activities, including a 2-mile hike that day, and it still said target 2053. So no matter what you do in a day, it doesn't actually change your target, and that's a little frustrating. But for the main purpose of me trying to keep my carbs monitored for my keto 2 days, cheat day 3rd day, and to monitor my calories to try to stay a little bit in a calorie deficit to lose some weight, this is actually a really handy tool to use. Plus, it helps me track all things like my activity and my food, sleep, whatever else, all in one place.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel below and let's celebrate turning fuel and air into adrenaline.